makes me a sad panda.
This is freaking me out, dude.
What's up everyone, it's Sleepy P. Welcome to the Sleepy Shellcore. It's great to see you again. If you haven't already, then make sure you like and subscribe. Do not forget to like and subscribe. The channel's 2 weeks old now and it's going great guns. Help me out, subscribe, tell your friends. I'm also on Twitter now, so if you want to argue with me on Twitter, it's the Sleepy Shellcore. On Twitter, you'll see my little avatar. Cool as, isn't it? Okay, today we are going to be looking at woke Hollywood again, and is woke Hollywood learning its lesson? Hollywood is shifting away from the woke before it kills them, and it should as well. I mean, look, we've got She-Hulk there. What a disaster that was. Any program that goes into slating its viewers, slating comic book fans, calling them names and making fun of them before it even gets started is not gonna do well. We saw it with Velma as well, calling out the fans already, and it's just not the way to do business. So, is Hollywood learning its lesson? The shift is already happening behind the scenes at studios. The market has spoken and it's time to shift away from the types of films that we've endured for years. Summer of 2022 is gone and it's taken the corpse of the woke narrative push with it. Hollywood, low and likely to ever repent or admit defeat, is tucking tail and giving up on pushing the unwashed masses from seeing the secular light. September was the worst month in Hollywood domestic box office history, or at least for the last 30 years. It was driven by the wokest of woke films, and they've left Tinseltown with nothing but bitter tears. Even SNL has figured out that it nearly killed itself. They might not know how to be funny anymore, but at least it's mocking itself for being unfunny. And that's the sort of meta commentary on how badly postmodern, narcissistic neo-Marxism has hurt entertainment. Nothing inside that bubble is funny or exciting, it's just deflating for audiences and for economies. And it's true, pushing the woke agenda, telling people what they should think, what should be acceptable instead of letting people make up their own minds is not the way to entertain people. People do not like to be told what to do.
Fuck off!
Of course, you'll almost certainly not hear any of this in the mainstream press, nor the access media for that matter. Think back over the last 12 months and what you get's a very strong pattern decided by the market. No matter what you've heard, the market is the deciding factor for when it comes to what gets made and what gets shelved. Double that factor when the economy is heading into a global recession, which it is. In fact, it's certainly doing. Studios can't afford to have the worst months in 30 years on a regular basis. They definitely can't afford it when inflation should make that nearly impossible. Plus, the economy is about to wallop their budgets.
Show me the money.
Everything is getting worse. I mean, I can't speak for any other countries, but here in the UK, the cost of living crisis is biting now. Everything is costing more, and ergo, the price of making TV shows and movies is going to go up. So they can't afford to be having these woke flops that nobody wants to see, apart from some made-up customer that the executives have in their minds. It's the same story over on streaming. She-Hulk may have increased its viewing minutes from very, very bad to just very bad in the last week for the Nielsen numbers, but that isn't changing the Marvel situation. Disney Plus subscriptions are supposed to be going up, even if modestly on the domestic side. Why then are the Marvel live action shows drawing smaller numbers of viewers? That's the antithesis of what Disney wants to see, and the only way that happens is if you're producing the antithesis of what the market wants you to give them. And this is so true. If you are just giving a minority of the market, such a small percentage of the market, what you think they want to see, then the rest of the people are going to turn their backs. A quick glance at the other Marvel live-action properties shows the same, spluttering out for a franchise that's on the decline. Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, they're all series that are less popular than the series that came before them. If a report of Whip Media is true, very well may not be, that Andor pulled a smaller audience than She-Hulk on its debut weekend, it won't be the patriarchy that will be smashed, it'll be Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm. Kathleen Kennedy is ruining the Star Wars universe. I watched Andor. Andor was brilliant. Andor is what Star Wars should have been, could have been. But Kennedy's just putting people off Star Wars with the rubbish that she's pushing before it. If you can't beat She-Hulk's ratings, then you're doing something very wrong. Devil in Ohio on Netflix is beating She-Hulk, and I'll bet you the average person on the street has no idea what that might be. I don't. What does that say for Marvel's best impression of... So what does that say for Marvel's best impression of Princess Fiona? And here we've got another woke flop. This is just embarrassing. Woke Bros delivers another weekend box office bust. For those who were wondering how the box office could get any worse, then there you go, the first weekend of October. After Billy Eichner's rom-com Bros bombed at the box office, earning just $4.8 million on its opening weekend, Eichner logged onto Twitter to vent his frustration, blaming straight people for not showing up to see the movie. Eichner's tweet proved far more controversial than the film, sparking hot discourse and prompting plenty of jokes from Twitter users bemused by Eichner's emotional reaction. Sure, Billy Eichner made a gay rom-com, but, I mean, you wouldn't just go and see a rom-com because it had gay people in it. You go and see movies because, oh, that looks like an interesting story, or oh, that looks like it's got an actor in that I saw in a movie that I enjoyed before. You don't just go and see something because it has gay people in it. You don't just go and see something because it has black people in it. You don't just go and see something because it has an all-female cast. That is not how movies work, and somebody needs to tell Billy Eichner that. Hopefully we've seen the last of that tool. Gay and straight people joining forces to shit on Billy Eichner and Bros is the closest we'll ever get to unity. This probably not, but it's a good point. Hollywood, take note. Billy Eichner explicitly said that he doesn't want gay Republicans or any Republicans to see the Bros movie, and it tanked. If you want to entertain audiences, you could start by not actively hating them. And again, this is what happened with She-Hulk. It's what happened with Velma. They're just dissing their own audiences, and you can't do it. I mean, America at the moment is so polarized by, politics that it's unbelievable. And, you're either going to relate to one half or the other. It's going to be very rare that you'll relate to both. I mean, you get a show that does relate to both, it's probably going to be a winner. Then you take a look at House of Dragon out of HBO. This show is double dipping with presentations on Cable Plus streaming. Yet it's not far behind the Rings of Power for Amazon Prime, even though Amazon Prime is a solely streaming affair. When you combine the ratings for cable and streaming, House of the Dragon is ahead of Rings of Power, and it almost certainly will come out on top. If you're Jeff Bezos and you've spent $1 billion on the most expensive television product in history, you probably don't want to be running neck and neck with a Game of Thrones spin-off. You surely don't want to be in that situation while your cast and crew make your show out to be as woke as possible. Clearly, that's not working. Go woke, go broke. When will people listen? So the market is already giving its final answer on the trend that will have become a faded fad soon enough. Hooray! Replacing strong narrative and meteocratic heroes with identity politics and tribalism is a dead endeavour. It'll take a few years for all the pipeline gunk to be flushed out, similar to what's happening at Warner Brothers Discovery right now, but eventually you're going to move on from this like we moved on from soap opera style smoothing on televisions. Yeah, it's still available, but all the cool kids know to leave it alone. And that's the same with all this woke junk. The market has spoken and we're leaving it behind. Now, you won't get a big apology out of the studios. Disney and Bob Chapek are not going to release some statement letting you know they've changed strategies. It's going to happen quietly. We'll see more of these movies fail over the winter, and they did. And we'll move on to the next topic. Those who are true believers will shriek and contemplate how the world can still be so obtuse, so hateful, but the rest of us will just move on. I would say it was a fun experiment, but it wasn't. But everyone thinks I'm a bigot, so hey. So, back to the world where Hugh Jackman returning as Wolverine is a cagey Hollywood decision that brings testosterone-loving audiences to theatres. Of course it does. People like to see action. People like to see their favourite actors. Back we go to a world where real-world practical efforts dazzle audiences and make them wonder how in the world they pulled it off. It won't be every movie, but it's the destination now. All the studios know it, all the CEOs know it, the temperature's shifted, the thermostat is different. China is a dead market for Hollywood, and everyone's tired of the postmodern stuff too. Let's get back to the action. I could not have said it better myself. We need to stop. We need to have a think. We need to vote with our pockets. We need to speak out. We need to get rid of this woke trash, because I, for one, have run out of shit to watch on television and see at the movies. This is Sleepy Pete. This is the Sleepy Shellcore. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time, guys. Peace out.